Alright y'all, part one of this 5-channel amp install. First thing I want to do is differentiate the two speed wires that I'm actually using, because we're using one of them for high level and the other one for speaker power output. Now since we're using this PAC audio integration T harness, we can go ahead and make our connections outside the vehicle right now, which is always preferred by me. That way we can get everything done on the test bench, and when we get back inside the car is literally just plug and play and run these wires back to the amps. Usually when I'm doing a 4-channel amplifier on a factory system, whether it be behind the radio or actually at the factory amp, you're gonna have to cut the speaker wires. You're gonna have to get one side going towards your signal for your line output converter, and then you're gonna have to use the other side as your speaker output going towards your amplifier. And then one of my co-workers was like, man, why don't we just get them the PAC audio integration T harness? They have labels on them to let you know what goes to the signal and what goes to the amp, and it'll be quick disconnections. That way, if he ever want to put his system back to the factory, all we have to do is unplug and replug versus cutting your connections and then resoldering everything if you ever want to trade the car in. I was like, man, that's a great idea. And I didn't even know PAC made these harnesses. They make them for right behind the radio and at the factory amp. So we're going to start stocking these at jpsaudio.com. So make sure you guys tune in for the rest of this install series. Until next time, this your boy JP signing out, telling y'all keep going, keep growing, and have a blessed day. Peace. Alright y'all, part two of this Honda install. We're going to do the 5-channel audio control amp, and we are installing some DD audio components in the front. I don't mind doing components, but the biggest problem I usually have is where to actually mount these crossovers. I never mount them inside the door, like where the window comes up and down, because there's just too much exposure to moisture or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is try to find my best way to mount this in between the door and the door panel. Since I'm going to be mounting these to the front part, I'm going to have to extend some wires on the input side and on the woofer side. So this actually came with two different crossovers, one specifically for the tweeter and one specifically for the woofer. Now both of them have a input side, and one goes to the tweeter and one goes to the woofer, of course. So we want to make sure that the inputs are both tied together to go to the input coming from our power source, and then the other ones will go individually to their own separate component. I wanted to mimic the factory wiring, so right up top by that harness I made some quick disconnects for the tweeter so it can come off separately. And these crossovers don't have any type of screw holes. They only have a hole just slightly big enough to actually fit a zip tie. So we're going to zip tie these crossovers to some factory wiring, and hopefully when we put the door panel on, it's going to fit good. We're going to add some solder to our speaker using some marine grade heat shrink so it can also stay away from any type of moisture. And this is what it looks like when it's all said and done. I think it came out pretty good. The door panel fits on perfectly with the crossovers and the acoustic ring. This JP signing out. God bless you. Stay tuned for part 3. Peace. Alright y'all, part 3 of this Honda amp install series. We're going to mount the amp to the amp board, and we're going to be using the T-Spec power and ground distribution. It receives 0 and 4 gauge power and ground, and we'll split them off to 2 4 to 8 gauge power and grounds on the other end. The power is fused, and the ground part is not touching the power at all, but that's just so we can have fusing in the back. We still going to have a T-Spec A&L, mini A&L fuse holder in the front. The whole reason we're using ground and power distributions in the back is because I like to build the amp on the amp board separately. I understand some people like mounting the amp on the back of the sub box. There's nothing wrong with that in my opinion, but at the end of the day, if the client wanted to take a trip and they needed more truck space and the sub box had to come out, they're going to have to uninstall the amp in order to take the sub box out. If I mount this amp on the amp board and then mount it somewhere else inside the vehicle and you still needed your trunk space, all you have to do is press those 2 push terminals, take the sub out, and then when you come back from your trip, you can go ahead and reinstall the sub, and you can do that yourself without having to come to see me to actually uninstall your amplifier every time you needed some trunk space. Now, even though mounting the amp to the back of the box can cause a little bit more vibration, which could make a little bit more heat, but if your box is built right, then you don't have to worry about that. If your box is solid and has no flex at all, you should be able to mount that amp to it no problem and don't have to worry about any extra vibration. But this your boy JP signing out. God bless y'all. Make sure y'all stay tuned for part 4 where we can see the rest of this amp board really get laid out. Peace. me, why not just hide the amp wires up under the carpet? It'll be faster that way. This don't take that long, but care about it being clean. And this client actually likes the way that I do my amp rack, so I'm gonna give him what he wants, because that's all that matters. Cause some of y'all be out of control in the comments, tearing people down and bashing folks just because they don't buy the same brand that you buy, or they don't do the same thing the way that you do them. And y'all double haters be the worst, cause y'all hate on the man who got the $20,000 system, saying that he should have spent his money on something else, but then you turn right back around and bash the person who can't even afford the $500 system, saying that he bought some trash. Look, everybody money different, everybody's situation different, and we all had to start from somewhere, so you should let them spend their money on what makes them happy. Now, I don't know if you know this, but if that makes you that upset, you can scroll right on past it. If you don't like the way I do my thing on this channel, you can unfollow me. I feel like God put it on my heart to help as many people as I can the best way I can. So instead of bashing another shop for messing up an install or tearing down a do-it-yourselfer because he couldn't clean it up, I'd rather just show you how to fix it and show you how to clean it. That way we all can do better. Y'all act like car audio is the members only club, or like a job that won't hire you unless you have 5 years experience. But how they gonna get the experience if you tear them down as soon as they step their foot through the door? That's like me being mad at my son for not knowing how to pull an engine at 7 years old. And his job is to hold the flashlight. But you can get yelled at if you're not holding that flashlight right. And if your dad was a mechanic, then you get the joke. Either way, this JP signing out. God bless y'all. Peace.